In terms of internal marginalization, there are instances where we have people at strategic positions, and we couldn't leverage such positions to better the lot of Igbos collectively. It becomes elitist capturing, a power play dynamism of my own. People were more interested in enriching themselves than they were interested in bettering the loss of the whole lot of Igbos. And that we saw during Obasanjo, Jonathan tenure, where we have a lot of Igbos in very juicy positions who couldn't leverage their positions to do the right things. At a time, even at the National Assembly, we have the Hearts Committee Chairman on Works and the Senate Committee Chairman on Works from this side of the divide. And most of the contracts that were also awarded to do most of the roads in the Southeast were given to Igbo contractors. And in the end, those roads were abandoned, monies were paid, no proper supervision, and our roads, remained so poor. We saw what happened with the Enugu Airport also. Enugu Airport was the first rehabilitation, as it were. I don't know what shall happen, was when we have our own as the Minister for Aviation. From Kema Chikwe, to Fidelia Njeze, to Odwa, to Chidoka. You ask yourself, what meaningful development happened in those airports?
All right, we'll get back to you. Let me bring in my second guest. He's versatile but passionate about increasing production and exports, and has international business experience spanning over 2 decades. Tony Edukwe, good to have you this morning.
Always good to be here, Uche.
All right. I'll ask you the same question I asked him. That's my opening question.
Okay.
And that is, do you believe the Igbos are marginalized, and by who?
It's not even a question. Everybody knows the Ibos have been marginalized. Successions of Nigerian governments have marginalized the Ibos. But we need to understand where this is coming from. When I say this, I will sound ethnical, but it is a fact. The Igbos are hated by majority of the rest of Nigerians. Okay, and I always say it is due to the fact of Igbos being very ambitious and sometimes overly ambitious, and so an Igbo man almost always prospers in everything he does, and so brings him jealousy from his counterparts. And so what usually happens is that they try to beat us down, right? And so that has also gone into government. The same reason we went to war is the same reason today the Igbos are being marginalized. The hate of the Igbo man. He's daring, he's got guts, and other people hate his guts, right? So in government, yes, we have been marginalized. But I'm not even going to make a case for appointments, because when you appoint an Igbo man, for example, you make him Minister of Health. You've appointed a Minister of Health for the whole of Nigeria, not just for the Igbos. He benefits from it because he earns a fat salary. So if you don't give us appointments, but you give people who will do the job appointments, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But then when you're talking about economics, when you're talking about infrastructure, when you're talking about development, when you're talking about roads, you're talking about airports, you're talking about, access to seaports, the things that are supposed to benefit a region economically, and you're not giving that to us, it is a clear case of marginalization. So we've seen that in different governments. Yes, whether you gave contracts to Igbo people and the money, it's a different thing. That's not marginalization to me. That's corruption. And so you who gave the contracts should arrest the people who you've given contracts and they haven't done them, and prosecute them for being criminals. But marginalization is when you have given, for example, recently they declared about 3 airports in 3 different regions of Nigeria, special economic zones, and none was given to the Southeast. That is a clear case of marginalization. Okay? You're talking about, seaports. You're talking about railroads. They did a magnificent, beautiful project that goes from Lagos to Ibadan. Beautiful, beautiful project, and I give them kudos for that. But now, the question is, Lagos to Ibadan and Lagos to the Southeast, which is more beneficial to Nigeria's GDP? We all know the answer. So why choose Ibadan over the Southeast? And since you decided to do it for Ibadan, why don't you do one for the Southeast as well, where trade is the mainstay, and that trade is what holds up our economy. And now you've given out another contract from the north to Niger, and you sidetracked Southeast that contributes majorly to the GDP of Nigeria. That's unfair. It's clear that they don't like us. It's clear that they know that if you give us a chance, we will prosper. And so they're trying to hold us down. At the government level, that's what they do, right? Now, your question is, who is marginalizing us? So I won't even go into our own brothers and sisters who aren't doing the things they're supposed to do. So let me stop there, and that's my answer to your question.
Okay, but then one will ask, you have a question, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding what you said about marginalization, and you mentioned the trail and railways. The truth is there is a railway that is purported to be for that will cut across all southeastern states and Port Harcourt and Cameroon, all the way down to Cameroon. But then there is the Minister of Transportation, who is an Igbo man.
Yes.
You asked why doesn't he put us in the picture there? Because he's at the helm of affairs there. He should push for our interests. So you ask, is it the Igbo man marginalizing himself in this situation?
Well, good question. Now, again, I'm going to say this. You need to understand the nature of the Igbo man. An Igbo man is a nationalist. As a matter of fact, I've always said the Igbo man is the only true nationalist in Nigeria. The Igbo man is the one person that will go to the north, marry a wife from the north, build a house, make his investments there, doesn't discriminate. And so you find out that the Igbo money has actually done more good for Nigeria in general than it's done for the Southeast, right? Give that to the Igbo man. But the Igbo man is not a patriot. Igbo man is not take it or leave it. People are going to curse me for saying this, but it is the truth. We need to change. The Igbo man is not patriotic in nature. And you would find out that generations...
To who exactly?
To himself.
To his place.
To his zone, to himself, to his people. Right? So you find out that politicians before the war were better. The generations of Opala, of Desa Mbekwe, Jim Wobodo. Look at the roads that Jim Wobodo did in Enugu. A lot of them were still good until Sullivan gave out contracts to do those roads. And the roads they did after that did not last 3 years. Now, if we are patriotic in nature, which, for example, I'm a patriotic Igbo man and Nigerian, take it or leave it, because I was raised by a father who was principled. I can tell you that since 2003, I have not dropped a wrap of sweet on the street. If I don't find a bean to put it, I put it in my pocket until I get home and I put it there. It's part of patriotism, because I don't want to be part of messing up the environment. I can assure you that at 12 midnight, if I have to be outside on the road at 12 midnight and the traffic light flags red, I will stand there until it turns green. There's nobody behind me. There's nobody in front of me. But it is my conscience that tells me this is the right thing to do. Majority of Igbo people lack that. And that is why, what's his name? The Minister of Infrastructure. Has been given that position. But he cares about himself. He knows his boss doesn't like us. And so he wouldn't want to be hated by his boss. And so he wouldn't make suggestions knowing the mindset of the man he works for. But if he was a patriotic Igbo man, he would say, we've done for the South. We've done for the North. It's only right we do for the Southeast. So let's not even go there. So that ambitious nature of the Igbo man makes him a lot of times put even his own father behind his own profit. And that's why they say, Nibo Fulego Len. Because we've heard stories of people who have taken their family members, loved ones, and done money rituals with them. But if you were patriotic and you thought about the well-being of your family, you think about the well-being of the Southeast, you think about the well-being of the state where you live, then your actions will be tailored to ensure that you advance the cause of your people and not just about yourself. And so that's why our politicians have been given projects to do roads and they never did it. Because they're not patriotic people. They're not thinking about the region. They're thinking about themselves. And so they have always advanced their own personal causes and forgotten about the region. And that's why we're where we are today.
All right, let me bring back Dr. Chuike. Now, you can't deal with now if you don't look back. Sometimes what is happening now emanates from a past. the Igbos have enjoyed juicy positions. They did that under Obasanjo. They played very key roles. Then in Goodluck, Jonathan administration too, they played some key roles. Now, he mentioned patriotism. If you look at the Yoruba nation, for instance, whatever post they occupy at the center trickles back to development in their region. So if we have held these positions and we did not develop our place using the tool of those positions, do we really have right to blame the center?
You know, when in my opening remarks, I did allude to these facts. When I tried to explain the internal marginalization and external marginalization, internal by our people, external by the country as a whole, against us. I think, yes, as a region, we still have the right to cry for marginalization. But beyond that, there's also the need for the people to demand accountability from those who have occupied that position in the past. It's not always good to point a finger at the other while the remaining 3 or 4 are pointing at you. You refuse to recognize that there are ones that are pointing at you. As people, and that brings me to what our brothers said earlier on. As Ibos, we have lost our key values, as a people. Growing up, I know that if you come back to a village and you bring in a car, the elders will ask you, how did you make the money for this car? The elders there will know that those that are chieftain, that have, that have titles, rarely eat in the public places. They don't take people's wives, they don't do those manner of things. But over time, we have lost those values, and we are now being driven by materialism. What do you have? What have you got? Nobody questions that. So, and that is what has also, that's what we have also seen in the way our people who are there. I said something, I said it's a elitist capturing that is happening. But beyond saying that we have been marginalized, we need to begin to ask the right questions. First, for those who we have sent out, who has occupied national positions, what did they bring to our people? Let me share an experience. In 2003, second term of Obasanjo, a House of Fresh member from my own area, I was one morning I woke up and I was looking at the budget for the previous year, and I saw projects that were allocated to my area. And I called her on phone. I said, I'm just going through this thing. This was approved. And I've inquired. They said funds have been released. Where are these projects? She didn't know me. I introduced myself, said, so she dropped the call on me. I called her back. And I said, if you drop this call again, I'll come to National Assembly and I'll make a scene. So we started discussing. And we are going to the next election. So I said, put down everything you've done and present to stakeholders. Eventually, it turned out that the monies, they know how they do these things, I don't know. But eventually, the monies were released. She and those they called the leaders of the people, including the even traditional institutions, how they work, they share these things and all that. So the issue that our people, we rarely ask questions, we rarely demand accountability from those who have been there. And it's happening everywhere. Those who send there, we have people who occupied positions of senior president, deputy president, ministers, and all that. You find out that what you see is that within few months they become very, very rich and more arrogant and all that, and they begin to subdue other people. We don't demand that. And even at the state level, at local level, I said we have received over 6 trillion naira in the last couple of years as Southeast. What have we done with the funds that we have received from Federation account? I'm not even talking about IGR. I'm not talking about the loan, the debts that the state has accumulated over the years. There's nothing to show for it. But as a people, we are not asking the right questions in-house, but we keep pointing at the other side. I said, if we have done the right things here, it's easier for you to go out there to fight the war. But now, there's a huge war in-house. and we are fighting external war. So to solve this problem is that as a people, we need to go back to where we are coming from. And where we are coming from is that Igbo man is known as a man with integrity.
Exactly.
And we've lost that. So we need to begin to have that reorientation and come back to where we can and ask people the right questions to demand accountability on what people have done with our collective words.
Yeah, sorry, can I quickly say this? I wanted to say earlier, and he pointed it out, that they have a way of sharing these monies. Now, you see, when you're given a contract, and the sharing starts from the table of the person who approves the contract, how do you expect to do the job? Because if you're giving me a job, and then you're insisting I give you 20% off the money, clearly, that money won't be enough to do the job anymore.
But these things happen across board. If, for instance, a contract is to be awarded, let's say in the Southwest, they still take their kickback, but they still do the job.
You're right, but that's where what he says comes to place, because they know in the Southwest or in the North, people are going to demand that you account for money given to you. When it's in the Southeast, nobody bothers. We're all concerned about our businesses.
Now let's take, for instance, the Enugu-Port Harcourt Road.
Yeah.
I've had to ask. It has appeared in the budget repeatedly. The questions are, was it budgeted for those times? That's one. Two, did the money leave the coffers of government to do those jobs, to do those? Now, the answer probably is a yes, too. Now, what happened to the money? Because it's easy for someone in the Southeast to say the northern roads are built, the southwestern roads are built, but it doesn't appear we want to ask, what about the oversight functions of our legislators over the roads that repeatedly have appeared on the budget, yet monies are released and then the jobs are not done?
It's part of that problem. Remember sometime last year when the man who fainted at the public Senate hearing or something, and then eventually came out that some of the senators shared in that money. Okay. Now, see, I talked about ambition, the ambitious nature of the Igbo man. I think when it comes to our ambitions leading us to kill our consciences, I think the Igbo man is worse hit than the rest of Nigeria. Because in the Southwest, people still want to, okay, I'll do the job, I'll chop some money, but I'll do the job, right? In the North, it's the same thing. I'll eat some money, but I'll still do the job. But Igbo man wants to make it really fast. So if it means not doing this job, and I settle this guy and settle this guy here and there, and then I pocket the rest of it, then fine, that's it. But you see, the problem is, if there is no oversight function on the part of the people who give out this contract, I have said this, with you before, I believe. When he comes back, I'm going to ask him, or if I can go tell him. And then in any case, where's the change? It is my responsibility to ensure that you do what I've asked you to do. And so if I'm not doing that, something is wrong.
For clarity's sake, are you saying the Ibos are not holding their leaders accountable?
No, we're not.
Yes.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not. It's the same reason. Onyibo doesn't want trouble. I think it's the war that actually puts us in that corner. Onyibo does not, an Igbo man doesn't want trouble. He doesn't, the same reason we fear the police to death. The Igbo man, you will be right, and you know that the police officer is not doing the right thing, but you would rather give money. So
how then do we find the balance?
We need to get back to who we are. Conscience.
How do we
values.
Okay.
We've lost our values. And so how do you talk about value if you don't have conscience? Now, you see why the white man is different. It's definitely different from the black person. A white man is willing to die for what he believes in. Martin Luther King said, if a man that will not die for something is not fit to live. If you believe in it, if your conviction is that this is the right thing, your conscience should be able to push you to be ready to die for that cause because it's the right thing. But what has happened is that we've been browbeaten so much that Igbo man would rather close your eyes to it. No, we don't have to close our eyes to it. If we keep closing our eyes, then things will never work. If our governors aren't doing well, we should be able to come together responsibly and demand accountability. It's not every time we have to hit the street and start burning things. That's even an irresponsible way of doing things. Okay? Imagine if every professional in the Southeast decides, okay, from today on, things are going to change. And so there's a cause that we need to challenge, all of us dressed in our, responsible clothing for that water, if journalists, police officers, no matter what your profession is, we come out and we march to the government hand and we say, we want accountability. Before they shoot that bullet, they will have to look at the caliber of people they want to shoot. Reverend fathers are wearing their regalia, bishops are there. And we are responsibly demanding accountability. And we make sure that the media is there to air what is going on. Then these people will know that the region has changed. But the problem is that Ngiyonwa that's going to demand accountability. If I give you 100,000 naira now to go and buy drinks for Omonna,
What happens?
are you going to actually spend that 100,000 buying drinks, or are you going to buy drinks for 50,000 and pocket the other 50,000? Now, if you're not righteous in yourself, you don't have any right to demand righteousness from another person. And so the problem is that in the Southeast, righteousness has been thrown in the gutters. Our fathers were not like that.
They were not.
Okay, so how do we then make sure that the people who are representing us on the federal level are balancing it? You said that the Igbo man is not patriotic, but then how do we demand what belongs to the Igbo man? How do they demand for what belongs to the Igbo man on the federal level to make sure, even though you're not that patriotic, even though you're not ethnocentric, that you demand what belongs to your people?
All right, first of all, quote me right. Let's not generalize things. It will be wrong to say that the Igbo man is not patriotic. Majority of Igbo people are not patriotic.
Okay.
But we still have good Igbo people who will give their lives for what they believe in. That's one. Two, there is an allowance in the Constitution for you to call back public servants who aren't doing, senators who are not doing their jobs. But the problem is that in Nigeria, nobody respects Constitution. And so that is why one of the ways forward for Nigeria is that we must strengthen our institutions. The police force must be strengthened. The police force must be funded and trained. I said it, that if you don't get the police force right, nothing will work in Nigeria. Because it's the policeman, the police force that will put the senators and the legislators and every other person in check. So first of all, I have said, we must change the system of policing in Nigeria, fund them properly, and re-employ people, and let the least requirement for to employ a police officer be HND. The least, let it be HND. That everybody that will work in the police force must have at least his HND. When you do that, you pay them well, pay them enough salary to be able to rent houses like every other citizen, drive good cars and pay their children's school fees. Then they will not be interested in the bribes. Then they can really and actually enforce the law. This will work both nationally and regionally. So when we can strengthen our institutions, then that means that, like he did, he called the lady and found out that the money had been spent. If he was overseas, you know what he will do? He'll go straight to court and file a lawsuit against that office. And you can be sure that right from the moment he files the lawsuit, he comes out and gives a press conference. They begin to investigate it right there. Before you know it, the media will help him fight that war. And at the end of the day, that lady will be prosecuted for getting the contract and not doing the contract. But the problem is that the people who have all the offices have all the money. You can't even challenge them.
All right, let me bring in Doc back. People find it difficult to deal with balance. On one end is defeatism, where you endlessly cry and then you're not able to jumpstart development from your side. A Chinese proverb says that people without faith in themselves cannot survive. On the other end, which is another extreme, is demanding for what belongs to us. How do we? Because when people cry for marginalization, they think they are demanding for what belongs to them. So, but I think there's a balance we must strike somewhere.
You keep bringing me back to my earlier statement. The question he asked, I wanted to jump in, but I just, he focused more on those getting things from the federal level. And that has been our problem, honestly. We have refused to deal with the issues that are in-house. And until we address those key issues in-house, we may not be able to even look outwards to begin to fight.
What are those issues?
Those issues that the things that we are supposed to do for ourselves, using the available resources for ourselves, both at the local, our community levels are no longer happening. You know, we try to play these power games and all that, you know, recruit thugs and all the rest of it because you have the funds. Unfortunately, the greater number of persons that are not in this clique, you know, are much. But we have refused to also leverage that number to do the right things as well. So what I'm trying to say also, and for the Igbo man also, part of the process is that we discarded our form. An Igbo man initially operates in a fluid way, which is the concept of Okoreism. We don't show off. And that is one thing we began, and it's also part of the thing that has led us to some of the things we are doing now. That's why before you see an Igbo man who do places everywhere, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But now we want to show off. That is not our culture. It's not our form. So we need to begin to address some of those issues. But now, with the issue of balance that you said about demanding for accountability and marginalization, the first thing that will need to happen to balance is that ị ga na-emegodo before ịchụba nụ nke a na-achụ achụ. Ị ma arapụ ihe na-eme gị n'ụlọ ha na-achụ nke ilo. So the first thing first is begin to address the key domestic issues. While you're addressing those key domestic issues, you can now ask for more. The parable of the talents we read in the Bible. We saw the man that was given 2 talents, 5 talents, and 1 talent. The one with 2 talents worked, and his talent was double. The one with 5 was double. The one who hid his own, it was taken away from him and gave to another. That is the Igbo man as Igbo state. The Igbo state is like the man with the one gift. We have refused to utilize the things we have to develop our area, and we are demanding for more. And my worry more is that the demand is also about individuals, about elitism, to acquire more, to suppress more, and not to better the lot of the Igbo person. So the first thing I think we should do in addressing some of these issues is what we are doing here this morning. Awareness creation, sensitization of our people on the need to jettison this get quick rich syndrome that has dominated our people, and begin to demand for real projects, tangibles. Jettison the idea of collecting 5,000, somebody will come here. You know, over time also we've learned things that weren't there. People want do not be boss for burials and all manner of things, which are not part of it. So we want to show off at every given thing. So we want to tell people, you know, in the olden days, most schools in our communities were built by communities, which is just now Igbo Bike. So we need to go back to Igbo Bike. We need to go back to Ogbenye, because Ogbenye means Ndo Ogbenye. Let the community give.
Not poverty.
Not poverty. It's because there's a poverty that requires the people to give. So we have the decision that now we are beginning to live as though we are single in people that are big trees that can stand on its own. So until we begin to go back to our foundations, to begin to live the way we live, I think in Abia State there are people who are still like that. The Ovim people also, everything that in that area is built by them. You know, they don't get to the government to say that, and the community is moving. So we need to go to that point where the larger population, those of us, and my brother, I don't know about others, will begin to demand accountability, and not just demand accountability, but to show the way. And which is why I said the balance is in showing the way, leading the way, by doing the things you are supposed to do. And while you are doing that, you have the moral justification to demand for more.
Each time we talk about this, a whole lot of people look at those in power. And even when they look at those in power, they don't look at those directly in front of them. They look at the center. So the people are central to this, if I understand your thesis.
Yeah.
So, and they are listening to you right now. So how do we begin to, because there should be a paradigm shift of a sort where we don't just see those in power, but we see also our roles. You must have encountered all these lines of thought where people shift blame? How do we begin to get the people to do what they are supposed to do?
Okay, I'll answer that question this way. Thomas Sankara, who was the president of Burkina Faso, when he took power, when he seized power, the country was named Upper Volta, something, a strange name given by the British, you know. So he decided to change the name of the country to Burkina Faso, a people who cannot be corrupted. Now, we must, as a people, begin to work on ourselves. Because imagine, how do you spank your child for smoking if all his life, all he's seen you do is smoke one packet of cigarettes every day? You're the one to blame. So the point is this: for us to have moral justification to demand that our leaders do the right thing, we must, first of all, become examples of morality. So the problem is, that's why we always say that Igbo values have been bastardized. Completely. Okay? Listen, I watched my father. My father was an auditor and retired at the highest level of state government service. And as auditors, they get offers for bribes. Because once they come to audit your firm or your parastatal and there's fraud, you're in trouble. So I know that my father had received offers for bribes and he turned them down. He did not retire a wealthy man like most civil servants did. People who came after him and some people before him came out rich. But this man refused bribes from people because he knows that it is not the right thing. And a lot of times it may better your present state, but what happens to your children? My father is 86 years today and healthy. And I believe it's because of the way he lived. So it is important for us as individuals to be able to police ourselves. That's why I said that at least from 2003, because that was when I first came back to these regions, I refused to throw candy wraps on the street. You guys say, what does that mean? It means everything, because I'm preaching a message to myself. Don't do this. I'm training myself to abide by the rules. And so that's what every Igbo man must do.
Okay, just before we go for the news, is the Igbo case as hopeless as people make it look?
It's not entirely lost, but it's a difficult task. But there has to be reorientation. That means we must make a deliberate effort to put these things in the media, to set up think tanks, to set up training institutions. Everybody, it must be hands on deck. We must come together. Jingle, coronavirus is real. We must have jingles. We must have billboards. Okay, reminding people that this is our responsibility. And we must tell ourselves that, listen, put a timeline on it. By 2030, we want Southeast to return to what it was, the fastest growing region in the world. And then these are the steps that we must take to get there. State governments have a role to play. Okay, social cultural organizations have a role to play. We all have a role to play. The church has a role to play. We must begin to hammer on this thing. Conscience, respect for rule of law, respect for rule of law. But first of all, it must start in the families. Because Ebe Milisibalo is in the families, actually. Because right now, I can reference my father as the man that influenced me to think the way I think. But there are people who I grew up with that didn't have their parents in their lives. And so their life, I lived overseas. And I see people dealing drugs. Overseas, Ijenga, Abro's a thing of shame. If you see how they arrogantly tell you I went to jail for 5 years. And I'm like, what happened to our people? Because, I mean, in the olden days, if you went to jail, your family and so everybody made sure that you didn't do that thing that would lead you to jail. But today is a thing of pride. James, you go and do the drugs, go and do 419 and come back, build a mighty house, settle on one, then you're the big man. That must be abolished completely from our way of life. It's messing up things for us.
All right, Dr. Chungba, you were saying something. Quickly say that in 1 minute. Let's go for the news.
No, just supporting what he said. We've lost our values. I said it earlier on. We now worship money. It doesn't matter where you get the money from. So as long as you come with money, even the Igwe, even the bishop will respect you. And that is not an Igbo man.
Wow. Okay, of course, this is the Parliament. It happens Monday to Friday. and we'll go for the news, and when we return, it will still be the Parliament. Stay with us. Why do we talk? We talk because transformation begins with a thought. Talks provoke thoughts, and thoughts inspire a consciousness. A new consciousness stimulates change in individuals and societies. Nigeria is not a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. A nation is transformed only when its people are. So we will keep talking until we get it right. Join us every weekday for the Parliament, 9 a.m., exclusively on Urban Radio 94.5.
From the capital of the Southeast to the world.
This is 94.5 Urban Radio Newsbreak.
It's 9:45 a.m. Good morning and welcome to Urban Radio News Update in 94.5 seconds. My name is Yagazie Obiwanni. The governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, has approved the installation of fire extinguishers in primary and secondary schools in the state. Houses belonging to the immediate past Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Imo State, COC Akolisa, alongside the member representing Osu State constituency in Imo State House of Assembly, Fridolin Nnodimmele, has been raised by unidentified hoodlums. Governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, has announced the relaxation of existing curfew in some parts of the state. The National Primary Health Care Development Agency has called on Nigerians to continue to take the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, stating that the vaccine was not only effective but was capable of protecting people against the Indian variant of the virus. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi has claimed that the federal government has repaid up to $150 million out of the $2 billion loan borrowed from China to construct the rails. In sports, the police command in Enugu State has issued a statement concerning the abduction of the coach of Nigerian Professional Football League side Rivers United, Stanley Eguma, on Tuesday in Enugu State. On entertainment, Big Brother Niger reality star Toby Bakre is set to make his debut lead role in a new Jade Osiburu directed film. You're up to the minute in 94.5 seconds. My name is Yagazie Obiwanni.
From the capital of the Southeast to the world.
This is 94.5 Urban Radio Newsbreak.
Why do we talk? We talk because transformation begins with a thought. Talks provoke thoughts, and thoughts inspire a consciousness. A new consciousness stimulates change in individuals and societies. Nigeria is not a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. A nation is transformed only when its people are. So we will keep talking until we get it right. Join us every weekday for the Parliament, 9 a.m., exclusively on Urban Radio 94.5. It's still the Parliament and Urban Radio 94.5. We get to the talk lines 08099
or 08093999945.
Hello?
Good morning, Jesse.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guest. My name is Chico there.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I like to start. I like to start by thanking the courage of Tony and Dr. Siwike. You see, I want to look at this here. The two worst governed states in the southeast are Abia State and Imo State. You know, you can dispute it if you like. Now, we have not asked why. These two states are oil producing states in Igbo land. They get 30% derivation. Yet, if you go to Aba, you will shed tears. And yet, Abia State holds the potential to be the most economically forward state in the southeast, given what borders Abia State, with other states. Now, I want to call out, where I'm trying to nail it is that I want to call out Senator Nyinaya Baribe, who has tried to call out on the federal government and make political capital at each turn of the round. He is representing Aba. And people have forgotten that Senator Abaribe was one time a deputy governor of Abia State, even in the darker days of Abia State. Yet, they have never found it, reasonable to call out the governors of those states, even when he was deputy governor, now that he's a senator, to say, why are we the way we are? That with all the potentials of Abia State, with all the money that Abia State is getting, why is Abia State in this mess? And yet they keep on riding on our suffering to attain political fame. I think they are doing a disservice to the Igbo man. You see, Senator Christian may be a politician, and he may be in the rank of the political elite, but in his track record, when he stood against the status quo, you can see that he even fought Obasanjo to stand still. That he said at the time that there was enough money to pay salaries and do infrastructure and run the government in Anambra State. The Southeast governor said he said on the unthinkable, and he proved it. So we need to begin to look at this very critically and see those who said they loved us, whether they had done the things we wanted, just like the biblical story of those who said, we love our father. Father, I will do it. And the other one that said, Father, I'm not going to do it. And the one that said he wasn't going to do it turned out to do it. And the one that said he was going to do it didn't do it. And Jesus Christ asked, which of them loved the Father? The answer is for us to take. We need to sit down to do introspection, to have a plan, to have an objective, and to have strategy. It is only with a proper strategy that we can actually outdo everybody, including those who think they hate us. I thank the courage of those gentlemen in studio once more.
Thank you, Dr. Narada. Thank you so much. Keep the calls coming. 08099-945-945. You can also dial 08093-999-945. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Ushegabra.
You're welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen in the house. So well. My name is Odazwe. I'm reaching you from Ila, Delta State. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Good. Now, I thank the gentleman there. Yes, the Ibos are marginalized, firstly, by themselves. What have we done by ourselves with what we have? Ibos had good positions in the past, yes. What did they bring to the table? I remember that Enugu and Itaro, the airport, and what have you. Now, what have we done with the IGL, especially Anambra and Abia State? Despite the huge commercial activities that go on there on daily basis, have we done well in politics? Have we? And what did these people, our former leaders, bring to the table? The ones that were appointed by previous administrations, except, of course, for two of them. The man that was in power, he was very good, and the one that was in town during the Ebola, I recall, they were very, very good. But somehow they were kicked out for whatever reason. I don't know. That is now the marginalization we're going to up there. And then we do not use anything they give us from federal government. Take the roads, for example. You go to the north, we say, oh, they marginalized, they have fantastic roads. They get contractors that are well established to work there. Here, what we do? We go to catchment area. More often than not, you see the minister or the commissioner doing the contract by himself. And there's marginalization.
All right.
We have to change our attitude on that and begin to look inward. Go to the west and see the schools there. We were ahead in education in this country.
All right.
In the north. But we're sent to go to school in the east because the structure was perfect. Educational structure was very good. Now, coming to my Dr. Chris Ngige.
Just summarize your thoughts, please.
With all due respect, I'll just so fastly and get it done with just 1 minute, please. He should try to start with himself. With all due respect, a bit myopic there. Why he, a doctor, medical doctor, found himself in the Ministry of Labor? Yeah? How many Ibos do you have in the executive, the National Security Council? And all the rest, all the security outfits in the country. How about everything? How about fertilizer? Do we get it here? How about palliative during this COVID? How? Do they send them to us? We have one track rail in the southeast. You have double track from Ibadan, even the one from Port Harcourt to Niger Republic. It's double track. Yeah, we have one track. So what are we talking about? Thank you, Uche, for giving me the opportunity.
All right, just keep it as brief as possible. Hello? Keep the calls coming. 08099-945-945.
Or 08093-999-945.
All right, keep your comments as brief as you can. Once again, the numbers are 08099-945-945.
08093-999-945. Keep the calls coming.
If you're finding it difficult, you can try 0813-314-2282. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, my name is Ari.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, you see, the truth is that are we being marginalized? Yes. Igbos are being marginalized in Nigeria. Another truth is that Igbos are marginalizing Igbo as well. You see all these stories about being marginalized. If you check very well, you find out that those pushing that directly, most of them are Igbos elite. You know why they push those directly? So that people will not ask them questions. They will hide under the armor of people being marginalized, and then they will be marginalizing those people as well. And you know what? People will not ask them questions. People will be asking the federal government, will be asking the Nigerian government that people are being marginalized. But these people are actually the people marginalizing us. That's the truth. You understand? Let's begin to ask this question. Let's ask those people that are representing us so far, from 1999 to today. What have they done? What are their achievements? They should come and show us their achievements in Igbo land. Come to Enugu. What's going on in Enugu? How many companies do you have in Enugu? There's nothing going on in Enugu. What's going on in Enugu now is that they bring out the house, they call them MOT, they're chasing people out. That is how they generate the revenue in Enugu. So we should wake up. The masses should wake up. There should be an alliance so that we know people to hold accountable. Not only the federal, the state is the truth. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Arinza. Thank you for joining us. Hello?
Hello?
All right, well, let's start. Move away from your radio, please. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, in the case of marginalization, we are being marginalized. Remember, accountability is different from being marginalized. And yes, our people are not accountable. Yes, if they give contract this side, people siphon the fund. But it's the same thing in the Southwest. It's the same thing in the North. In the North, people are giving contract and they don't do it. it's people that give them that contract. They're supposed to be accountable for that contract. Is it because our people that they give up to some politicians contract and they don't do it? Is that why we are being sidelined? Why is it not happening in the north like that? Why is the north not sidelined also? You understand? You know, this marginalization of the South is so obvious. And people are talking about, appointment in government parastatals, in security apparatus. But I don't mean that. What I mean, what this administration is doing in terms of appointment in NBA, in government parastatals, you see, it's one-sided. You can't be people and say we should not talk. No. I can't wait for any Nayabaribe to talk because I'm a human being. I'm saying it. Although in the Southeast here, our people are not doing well, but it doesn't mean that we should be marginalized. Look at the rate that we are talking about. Some have done, Southwest have gotten their own. They even up to the Niger Republic. You understand? But none have copied, although we have the track. You understand? That's the thing we are talking about. We can't wait for any narrative to talk. We should remove this narrative of because we are not doing well internally. That's why the thing that is due to us will not come to us. No, the thing that is due for us.
All right, thank you. You've done 2 minutes. If you follow the analysis, nobody has exonerated the federal government, but we're saying if contracts are given across board and then they are given to Igbo contractors and they do not do the road, will you say that those who issue the contracts are marginalizing you? Will pay bills or return for more calls?
Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
We know you can. Let us know on Twitter at Urban Radio 945 or Instagram at Urban Radio 945.
But you see, the truth is, the people giving the contracts know that Igbo politicians will eat the money. So they want to give you that contract so that they'll make money off of it.
The Igbo man should not do what they expect.
It's not the Igbo man, it's the Igbo politician.
Go to UNN and all the federal justice. The same amount of money they give to them.
Is it not the same? Is it not the politicians
but
that
they
they give it
infrastructure in those universities, you cry.
but they still give it to politicians in the north?
Yeah.
But because they are patriotic to
No,
their
we have that's the fundamental. That's the foundation we laid earlier.
But I know I call them. If we want it to change, it's going to change. We have to demand accountability.
Go TV, love it.
Is that the same people when Ojo Carlo came out from prison? They were saying, living for us is our man. We're not from west.
What's wrong with our people?
Our platform and I compare the bombings in the southeast and the north. Now I get potential police here because are you comparing two evils? Are you trying to get things done right?
So now,
so because and the men are not, it may about this, okay.
The man they burnt his house in Hafia.
Yes. Yeah, but it's my friend.
Okay. Burnt his 4 exotic cars.
You mean this one?
Just because he put solar light, solar panel,
I told you.
solar camera.
Are you serious?
Accountant general
Something is wrong.
I told them when they are done, they will fix up.
You see, the point is that you see, something is mentality in the body go damaged. You not go right off the city because I'm going non-government. You're doing well. They're doing well. I'm an family is the police. On your guys, what's the
you know, I have the same concern.
In response to those who missed out,
what is wrong with that? What is wrong with our people? And that's what they want, anarchy. Kafatek is over. Nigeria guy was Somalia. Southeast guy was Somalia. Then what are you going to do?
These are the reasons I even raise this issue, so that we can talk to them. Don't make your region a theater of what? Don't make your silver 6 months. I can't appear. eventually it's turning to that.
But you see, as in is the when people complain about Operation Python dance, that's in the military. Even Najubo, can you basalu udena na baba? On na bem, hadapo tam.
Do you know that the man knew Nana Biabi was send that boys in Haji protect around when he knew he was not there.
See you there.
That's someone was asking me what happened in our life and said, well,
Can you to go and protect the place?
yes, now they kill up to 300 of them.
Of the people there by the place, okay.
But okay, Python dance.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. He was not there.
Okay.
He knew he was not there. People were coming from Umahia.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That was how they got
secure, especially when you are
if you were not there, why don't you tell them to?
Limited.
You think they can? Okay, get them in over there now. They will not tell you the other part of the story.
Comfortable homes and great value for your money. We
There's
confirm
an
from the
army base in
Ministry
our
of Lands and
Did
Survey
they just
before
start
buying
killing
properties. The time to invest
They will not
is
tell
now,
us that they
and
killed
Farm
army
Realties
people.
Limited
Okay.
is the trusted name.
Hey, it's a one-sided story. One-sided report.
www.farmrealties.com or call
That's a
Kingsley
good
on
one.
0703-751-5259. Farm Realties, the A to Z of land and property.
The Nigeria Reunion Show, welcome, and I'm your host, Ebuka.
So, icons, elites, ninjas, ozone shippers, and fans of Big Brother Niger, can you hear me? Watch as the housemates gather again to uncover those things that you might have missed. Find out what's changed and what remained the same. Tune in to what's been happening in the lives of your fave since they left the Big Brother house. And of course, all the juicy secrets you've been waiting to hear.
I'll give it to you hot. Don't say that.
The Big Brother Lockdown Reunion will be showing on weekdays from Thursdays, the 17th of June at 10 p.m. on Africa Magic Urban, DSTV channel 153, and 10:30 p.m. at Africa Magic Family, DSTV channel 154, and GoTV channel 2. You can also catch up on all the drama by downloading the My DSTV and My GoTV apps. Remember, the best moments are on DSTV.
Let's get in more comments from parliamentarians. Hello? Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, the beginning of my generation of Igbo.
What's your name, sir?
I'm trying to is my name.
Go ahead.
The beginning of my generation of Igbo started from the first regime of this APC in this country. When they elected the ministers, I know Igbo man name is included there. Remember
ministers?
Igbo people, their names are not included there. And that's the beginning of marginalization. So whatever we are saying about marginalization now, we should go to very late of the beginning of APC regime in this country. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
That's not correct.
Here's the calls coming. I don't think that is correct. There are APC Ibos that were appointed. Okay, but let's see how it goes. Hello? Hello? All right, well, that's that one. Keep the calls coming. 0099945 Okay. Hello? Yeah, good morning.
Yes, I call from Camp.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yes. Igbo people is not being marginalized by Chris Ngige, former governor of Anambra State. And that is practical lie. Yes, and ndị Igbo si n'okwu a na-asa anya ada na. Your guests wanted to refer us to Burkina Faso. How the leader, what is the name? Name being given to them by the British. Then he stopped there. And the name Nigeria is being given to us by British. So how can we change the name for us to get our nation to be good? Now in Nigeria, Igbo people is being marginalized, said by Eze Ikechukwu. Then the example is that the Imo State people, the people of Imo State gathered and they do election and elected their governor. Then from state judiciary to federal government and Abuja, Federal Supreme Court of Nigeria said no. Then you ask who is marginalizing Igbo people? Then federal government of Nigeria is marginalizing Igbo people. The pure example of it is Imo State. Supreme Court of Nigeria give Imo people the governor that are governing them, not the people that bring the governor. Do you understand?
Yeah, finish up.
I'm asking you, how many in exam? For instance, you want to enter University of Nigeria, then you wrote 180 or 190. They will not give you this thing to enter the university. Then in the same country, Nigeria.
All right, the time is up. All right, you wasted your time. Just keep it as brief as you can. 0099945 or 00939999945. This is your opportunity to air your views. Just before we get back to our guest. Hello?
Hello, good morning, Uncle.
Yeah, good morning.
And everyone on the studio.
Go ahead.
My name is Tina. I'm calling from Enugu.
Go ahead.
We are shouting marginalization. Even if the federal government is marginalizing the Ibos, God created us that we can bring water out of the rock. We can come home, sit down, and plan for our life and see how we can build the Southeast. Even with the little money we have, we can transform the Southeast. If you go to Saudi Arabia, Dubai is not the capital city. Everybody is traveling to Dubai. Why can't we sit down and plan? The little we are getting from the center, we can plan and use it to transform the Southeast. We have the people. We have people that God gave brain. Why are we good at, coughing the money into our individual pot? This is where the problem lies. That is my own this morning. Let us come back home. Let us come back home and plan on how to build our Southeast. It will be better for us instead of looking to the center. The center might not be good for us, but we can make it happen by ourselves.
Thank you for this opportunity. All right. Thank you, Barrister Tina. Hello? Hello? All right. It seems there's a problem with that line. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. What's the name?
Yeah, Chisom Benedict Chisom from Enugu.
All right. Go ahead. Just get rid of the noise.
Okay, is it better now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the magnitude of marginalization and suppression by the federal government on the Ibos is obvious. But I must comment that it's all our fault because, as they say, that power is not rightly given, it's taken. On the issue of that we are not holding our government accountable in the sense that on the major contract awarded by the federal government to the Southeast, they're supposed to set up a committee that is supposed to checkmate the works going on in the Southeast, as in holding the contractors, the people that owns that the contract awarded to, holding them accountable. so that they can deliver a quality job. If you know the kind of money that are being budgeted to Enugu Port Harcourt Road, this is so alarming. But up to now, the roads are still not okay. So it's our fault on the issue of this marginalization of the thing. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for your comments. Keep the calls coming. We could take 3 more calls, and then I can get back to my guest right here. Hello?
Good morning, OQC.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, my name is John.
John, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, let me start by saying I agree with some of the callers that said that there are things we can do as a people, and then we can be moving forward. But my only annoyance is for someone to come and deny the fact that the Southeast is not being marginalized. I mean, for me, that is the height of insincerity. Now, are you aware that if all the reps in the National Assembly, people from the Southeast, decide to move a motion, they cannot move a motion? Only the reps from Kano can stop a motion from reps from the Southeast. Are you aware? Now, are you aware that other regions have 6 states, but Southeast have 5 states? Are you aware that our senators can do nothing or not if they want to move a motion now that they need something in the Southeast? If only the reps from Kano decide that they don't want it, they can shout it down because they have higher number than the entire representative from the Southeast. Kano has about 30-something or 40-something legislators, just Kano state alone. So if people are making analysis, let us look at things that are realizable, something that is we can achieve. Now, talking about issue of security, are you aware that some of military men that are mostly from the South, I even have someone here around me now that was in the military that was retired because he was from the Southeast. Even this new this new chief of army that was appointed, some military men were retired, and these were basically people from the Southeast. You saw what A.J. Guy did when he was the chief of army staff. You saw what he was doing, and they started shouting. Okay, let us move to other sectors. One of the colors mentioned in terms of education. How can a country where we are staying, someone from the Southeast we get 180, while someone from the North we get 120, and then someone that has 180 will not be given appointment?
All right.
Will not be given. Hello, can you hear me?
Your time is up. Your time is up. If you do more than 2 minutes, I will just let you go. 2 minutes is enough to say whatever you want to say, so that other people can also get a bite of the apple. We can take 2 more calls. Try 0813-314-2282. You can also try 080-99945-945. Hello?
Hello, I'm calling again. Anthony.
Why are you calling again?
I'm calling because we didn't get my question very well.
All right, make it brief.
Yes. I make it brief. I say, when this regime came to power, the first list of ministerial appointments, no Igbo man was there. It was under pressure, and some after some days that they included Igbo peoples as ministerial appointment in that list. And you know what I want to tell you? The music, the bongo music was saying, Enyendebe is a music of that place. In a situation, they give other people and they leave Igbo. That's mere discrimination and mere marginalization. Thank you.
All right, you said it before. We got it right. The other thing is that we're wondering when that list was released. But then let's get back to our guest right here. Let me start from you, Mr. Tony. Okay, I'd like you to respond to some of the things you've heard, and then we can begin to make closing remarks.
Yeah, a lot of them said the right things, concerning what we can do as a people, to develop the Southeast. Yes, I agree. There are a lot of things that we can do as a people, but our right is our right. Give it to us. That's why we are part of Nigeria, right? We have a rule that's called the federal character.
Federal character.
Well, it's a commission, but I mean, it's part of the constitution that if you have to give appointments, you have to,
spread it.
That's right. You give Hausa, you give Igbo, you give Yoruba, spread it around. Now, there's another, I don't remember what they call it, but it's a Nigerian first thing, that if you're going to acquire anything for the government, you buy, if there is a manufacturer of that particular thing in Nigeria,
Local content.
that's right, buy it from that manufacturer. Where there isn't, then you can source it from outside. But I don't see innocent vehicles at the federal level.
Yeah, but they use it in the army.
At the federal level?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But, I know that it took a while before that started happening. So what I'm trying to say is that our leaders have to be fair.
On that, one will even ask, to what extent are the governors of the Southeast region patronizing him?
Well, I know that. I know one of the his greatest fan is Peter Obi. Peter Obi did well for him. I'm seeing the police in the Southeast using his vehicles.
What's wrong with making his vehicle the official car of the Southeast?
Yeah, but that's what it should be. Well, first of all, we have to assert if the vehicle is actually good. We should support it, but I'm not saying we should make it, the only vehicle. Mix it up, give him a level of patronage, because that way you encourage him. But that's not where I'm trying to dwell on. What I'm trying to say is that we have to implement federal character in everything we do. But when we, go over and above federal character, and then we begin to do lopsided stuff, we're sending a clear message that we favor some people and we don't favor the other people, which the president actually made clear that will be his modus operandi. The 5 percentiles and the 97 percentiles. He made it clear that will be the order of the day, and that's what's happening. And we're saying it's not right. Now, but I want to say something, taking a lead from what he said. It brought me to thinking. If you think about the kind of allocations that's been given to the Southeast since 1999, it's a huge amount of money. And we have absolutely nothing to show for it. And so on that, I will not blame the federal government. I will blame our leaders. Every governor who's been governor in the Southeast is to blame.
It appears our leaders in the Southeast don't know that all regions are to themselves right now.
Yeah. So all the monies are given to you. What have you done with it? Governor Laws Akobaleaka, he does a job and you begin to clap for him. It's a great job it's good that he did it when some other people didn't do, but it's his responsibility. So what I'm trying to say is that we have failed ourselves. Our politicians have failed us. Our leaders have failed us. Okay, Dubai did a project. I was in Dubai a couple of years ago, and somebody told me this story. That when when those two brothers from the Emirate wanted to do the Dubai project, they didn't have the money. They went out looking for money. I heard Obasanjo was approached to give money for that Dubai project. This is what I was told in Dubai. I don't know how true it is, but I'll put it out here. And he told them, can anything good come out of a desert? Eventually they got money from India and some other places, and they did Dubai. Now, Dubai is the foremost destination, one of the first 5 in the world, and they are prosperous. So we could have used all the money gotten from our location since 1999 to turn the Southeast to a Dubai. But what we lack is political will, not just on the federal level, but on the regional level. But Tata Bubo, the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. But the next best time is now. Ibido Tata or draw late.
All right, Dr. Chiwikuba.
Well, first, I would like also tell us here, there's a caller that said that we'll have lesser number of representatives at the National Assembly. That is given. Is a structural issue, and part of the issues that has come up in the restructuring debate. But beyond that, I think it's not just about the number. It's about also our engagement approach. As the people, we need to learn how to build bridges. Everything is not gotten on the altar of Tibo's way. You must learn how to massage the ego of the people we are dealing with to get them to buy into what we are or what you want them to do for you. So, and I think that's one aspect of the Igbo man also that have been eroded by the current district. We don't know how to dialogue, how to negotiate, how to buy the mother. So, and the people you are dealing with sees you as somebody who wants to come to power and take over everything, override everything. And I don't think that's a good approach. We need to change our approach to make sure that we are accommodated also, and we can get what we need to do. So it's not just about number, but it's more about also the approach we have adopted in our engagement. Beyond that, also, let me also say that there's nothing like equality anywhere. I know a lot of people will say, why would you say that? There's nothing like equality. That's why when women say they are seeking for women equality, I say it can never happen. Our fingers are not equal. What we should be demanding for is equity. Everyone want to came and equality. It's about equity. Is equity. So what we should be driving is that let us get our rightful portion, our rightful benefit from the federation. If the federal government is citing a railway, we ask ourselves, do we need a railway? Yes. Where do we need these railways? And we'll make a case for it. We've had our chance. Agreed in the current dispensation, APC government, the Southeast has not benefited much in terms of appointments. But beyond that, we had also our way during the PDP government where we have almost everywhere. At the time, the economy was controlled by the Ibos, from the minister to the CBN to finance to all those areas. We didn't utilize that. And others didn't cry foul the way we are crying now. So we have turned ourselves like a weeping baby, and which is not what it should be. I said earlier on, if we have made our home better, it's easier to engage externally. Now we have a hollow base, and we want to put skyscraper on that hollow base. It will crash. Let me borrow my brothers Tony's this thing. Let's begin to do the right things. Let's begin to do the sensitization, as we earlier said on. Let us begin to demand accountability from our leaders from here. Yeah. From our governors, from our National Assembly representatives, from local government chairman. How many of us even go to local government to find out what is happening there? So we must begin to demand this kind of accountability from our people. And also even the internal marginalization from the people who are also that who have entrusted with power at the local level. There also a marginalization going on, and we are not discussing those issues. We'll keep discussing the external one. Let's deal with the internal one while we're also trying to solve the external issues.
Thank you, Dr.
Sorry, Richard, can I quickly say this?
All right.
There's something else we can do. You know, in this era of social media, people must begin to use social media responsibly. Abroad, just posting pictures of where you're dancing in Skelewu. Make videos. Research allocations given to your community. Research the projects that have been approved. Okay, if they haven't been done, publish them. Write about them. It's not just the radio stations or the newspapers that can do that. You know, people can individually go into investigative journalism. You know, start a YouTube channel. You know, cover what's happening in your community. Cover what's happening in your, you know, in the political, you know, spectrum in your communities, and let the world know about it. If we all begin to talk about, imagine I'm from Onitsha, and if they're not doing things right, and imagine up to 50 people from Onitsha begin to do YouTube videos about that. Before you know it, it gets millions of views, and then the person involved begins to be worried that and then they begin to correct their ways. So we must write articles. We must choose social media responsibly. The media have a great role to play. Talk about these things, and perhaps we'll see change sooner than we expected.
All right. Thank you, Tony Odukwe. Thank you for your time and your brilliant thoughts. Thank you, Dr. Chuikuba. It's been nice listening to you.
Thank you.
And thank you, parliamentarians. Thank